Best property I've bought for a client never appeared on Domain. Didn't appear on realestate.com either. It sold in 4 days, no listings, no opens, no auctions. If you're searching for property in Illawarra and it's doing it all through these portals, there's a significant portion of stock that you're missing out on and you're never going to see it. So today I want to explain exactly what it is, how it actually works, and what you need to get access to it. Let's start with what the data actually shows. CoreLogic estimates that off-market and pre-market transactions account for anywhere between 35 and 42% of residential settlements in coastal New South Wales markets through 2025 and 2026. In the Northern Illawarra, Helensburgh down to Wollongong, that proportion runs low. In Wollongong CBD, it runs a bit lower because higher volume tends to standardise the campaign process. So, if you're only searching portals, you're competing for about 60% of available stock. That 60% skews towards properties that vendors need to expose broadly, which tells you something about the nature of that stock. The 40% that moves quietly tends to be properties where the vendor has another option. This isn't a conspiracy, it's a structural feature of how real estate transactions work. When there's a trusted network of buyers agents and sellers agents operating in a relatively tight geographic market. So why would a vendor choose not to go to market? A few reasons really, and they're worth understanding because they tell you something about the psychology you're negotiating against. First, vendor fatigue. In a market that's plateaued, a seller doesn't want a 6-week campaign that ends with a price they could have got day one. A quiet introduction to a ready buy, fair offer avoids all of that. Second, privacy. Some vendors, particularly in the luxury bracket or owners who are downsizing after a long term in a property, don't want open homes. They don't want strangers walking through their house, and they don't want a public price conversation. And third, certainty. A conditional buyer might pull out during the financial period is a massive risk. A buyer's agent introducing an unconditionally pre-approved buyer to a vendor settled transaction is a completely different proposition. The seller's agent's job is to find that person for the vendor. If they trust the buyer's agent's client, they make that call. So here's the thing most buyers get wrong about off-market access. They think it's a special portal or a secret list. It isn't. What it is a reputation built over years of completed transactions. So when a selling agent in Wollongong called me at 8 AM on a Tuesday about a property that isn't listed yet, they're not calling me because I pay a fee. They're calling me because I've settled clean, fast deals with their vendors. My clients follow through. They know an introduction to me is worth making. Selling agents know exactly what buyer's agent clients will waste their time, which ones won't. A buyer who does a friendly inspection says, it looks great, then stalls. Renegotiates or disappears. That agent doesn't make the call next time. A buyer whose agent has a track record of clean exchanges gets introduced to the next property before it's listed. So when I receive a pre-market introduction, I typically have 24 to 72 hours before it either goes to other buyers agents or goes to a campaign. That window is real, and it requires the buyer to be in a specific position, specifically unconditional pre-approval, not the online 10-minute version, a fully credit-assessed approval from your lender. Brief terms, you know exactly what you'd say yes to, so when the call comes, you're not making a new decision, you're executing one that's already made. So the ability to inspect within 24 hours and the ability to sign within days is crucial. Most buyers aren't in that position. They have a form of conditional approval. They're still refining their brief. They need a week to get their heads around it. That buyer can't participate in off-market. Not because they're excluded, it's because they're not ready. So if you're ready to buy and ready to look at different things, off-market requires the former. So if you're searching in Illawarra right now and you want to understand what off-market access actually looks like for your budget brief, reach out directly. I can tell you what's moving quietly in your target range right now and what you need to be in a position to act on it. subscribe if you want to keep following the series. Next week we're going into how to read a comparable sales report without being misled by selling agents. That's a useful one for anyone in active search. DM me, are you off market, or just free subscribe and reach out. All the best.